Let's take a moment. Close your eyes and just imagine with me, okay? You are in the middle of the night, you prepare a special meal for tomorrow. And you go to work, you put it in the refrigerator with your name on it because it's your food, but nobody should be touching your food anyways, even if you didn't have your name on it, because they know it's not theirs. And it's lunchtime now, and you open the refrigerator and you see that your food is gone. Somebody ate it. What would you do? Welcome back, guys, for another Reddit story, reading Reddit stories. Yeah. Anywho, someone kept stealing my food, so I prepared them a special sandwich. Did y'all like my scenario? Like, were y'all into it? Were y'all like, did you close your eyes? Did you put yourself in their shoes? If you didn't, play it back and do it. Sorry, got a little. Let me shut up and let's read, okay? This is the first time I premeditated my revenge, and I'm so glad I did. I am currently doing an internship as a lab assistant. Every day I make myself something light to eat, mostly sandwiches, as I don't stay there long enough to have a packed lunch. Since we are not allowed to carry bags inside the lab, we take our mobile phones and wallets with us and leave the bags outside on the shelf. But what if you have like, y'all don't have a lab? I mean, not a lab, like a lounge with a refrigerator. Okay, that's not bad. You don't steal it anyways. Now, I've been working here for about 12 days. 12 days, it haven't been that long. And starting on the third day, my and my other intern's food started going missing from our bags. Okay, this is worse than I imagined. Somebody's digging through your actual bag. Excuse me. Along with the lunch boxes. After looking around, we discovered the empty boxes in the bin. We talked to our supervisor about it, and she sort of shrugged it off, and it wasn't any help. That's not something you shrug off. That's stealing. That's an offense. They could go to jail, right? They need to go to jail for that. On day 4, I tried to hide my bag under someone else's bag, hoping my food would be safe. I also carried it in a purple bag just to be extra careful, and it did work that day. But unfortunately, it started going missing the next day again. The next day, I tried something different. I took a bite out of my food from both ends, but sadly, that didn't work. And I ended up finding the bitten parts in the bin along with the paper bag. They're diabolical. What if I spit in the sandwich? You still... Let me shut up. Now, 1 or 2 days have been fine, but this has been going on consistently for more than a week. And I finally reached my breaking point, as you should, because that's crazy. Now, I have a lot of pets, mostly reptiles, and don't tell. Let me finish reading, because I'm either thinking she got like the skin of the reptile or like what the reptile eats. But let me continue. And any reptile owners would know that a reptilian diet consists of delicious bugs. So I devised my petty revenge today. I woke up an hour earlier than usual and prepared the best looking sub sandwich I've ever prepared. I seared the buns, grilled the chicken, and prepared the sauces by hand. Hold on, she up in here like this. She got ratatouille up in her head, whipping it, kicking. Precise. And I placed each layer carefully on top of the other. Then the fun part. I gouged a hole perfectly at the point where half of the first bite and half of the second bite would be. I took out the filling and scooped some bread out and to make just a big enough hole. Then I took a handful of Flucker's gourmet style insect mix, crickets, mealworms, waxworms, and Dubia roaches. What is a Dubia roach? I don't want to know what that looks like. I'm not about to look that up. And Dubia roaches are generally safe for human consumption as they are raised specifically for food and stuffed inside. I added a layer of shredded vegetables, toppings, and condiments, then placed the top bun and made sure it looked completely not sus. I love this. And it did not. It looked so good that I was tempted to take a bite. Don't worry, I did. This gotta be a fake story. I went to the lab and placed it back exactly where I usually do. I was so excited the entire day I couldn't focus on work. This don't seem real. After work, I opened my bag and sure enough, my food was gone again. I checked the bin and there it was, my delicious sub sandwich with bugs oozing out of one end. That made my whole day, maybe even my whole week. I can confidently say they won't be taking my or probably anybody's food again tomorrow. But just in case they do, I might make a warm version of the sandwich the next day. So what did you eat for lunch? This gotta be fake. That's diabolical though, because like I said, I'm thinking we're in a lounge. We have a break room with the refrigerator. We all put our lunch boxes and our foods with our name in the refrigerator. But no, this person is taking you and other people's lunches out of y'all's bag. Like your bag with your personal belongings besides your wallet and your phone or whatever you said. That's diabolical. That's a different type of level. Wait, when was this? 21 days ago. I need an update. Did the person say anything? Did the person find out? Did they come back the next day, eat anybody's food? This is crazy. crazy. Let's read some comments. This is nice, but I got an even better suggestion if you don't give a F about the person stealing. Get a doctor to prescribe you a laxative, but that laxative in your lunch. Oh yeah, that's what I thought she was gonna do. But until she said the reptiles, but I thought she was gonna put laxative in the sandwich or like a drink or whatever and get them to eat that, because then you would know who ate your food because they would be going to the bathroom. That's what I thought she was gonna do. You can directly go to your manager, HR, and police, because what that person did is knowingly tampering with your medicine by taking it away. They are now guilty of federal crime of stealing Medicaid. Okay. But they didn't take my food today, so I guess I'm good for now. I know that is considered poisoning, and it will not end well. They're stealing. That's why they urge you to get a prescribed laxative. Ghost peppers will let you know instantly who the thief is. I'm not just gonna do it to get revenge. I'm doing it because I want to know who's stealing my food. This is the best food revenge ever. Hot sauce usually works. However, I love your bug idea. Give your critters extra snacks for contributing to your scheme. That's hilarious. I'm really courtling. Love to see his face. This story sounds crazy, bro, but completely different than what I was expecting. But let's move on to the next. And I'm steady moving on to the next because I don't know this song that well. Okay, this here is a long one. It's a doozy. So buckle your seat belts, get some food, and let's dive in. Am I the a-hole for going no contact with my parents after my mom showed up uninvited and my dad tried to fight my husband on my wedding day? That was a lot for the first title. Hello. To start, I like to say that my family has always been problematic, but I've never actually expected something like this to happen on my wedding day. But on the bright side, as I told my now husband, at least I have a good story for Charlotte to potentially see, and for all my fellow tea-loving potatoes to enjoy. Some background. I'm 28 with a 7-year-old daughter whose father isn't in the picture. I grew up largely alone. My parents divorced when I was 1. Hold up. So your parents are divorced? I thought they was married doing this. Y'all even weirder. And my mother remarried P when I was 6. My childhood was rough. My mother was emotionally abusive and manipulative in serious ways, while P was the more stable presence, even if he was also pretty emotionally abusive. Kind of the lesser of two evils, I guess. As an adult, P and I grew genuinely close, and he's been a loving grandfather to my daughter. I consider him my dad. Strike 1. Dress shopping. I invited my mother, my mother-in-law, my best friend, and my daughter to my dress shopping appointment. My mother showed up an hour late, missing the appointment entirely. She missed the whole point. I found my dress and she wasn't there. She showed up while I was getting the final measurements for my order. She was rude to the staff, completely brushed off my incredibly kind mother-in-law, and announced she couldn't stay long because she had a date, not with Pete. When my mother-in-law graciously suggested I try the dress on so my mom could see, my mother looked at her and said, "And who are you?" "I'm her mother now." "Whatever, I have a date." Despite having just been introduced to her, I am embarrassed, but let it go. Strike 2. The TikTok. Apparently, annoyed at my lack of a reaction for her behavior, my mother posted a heavily filtered photo of my daughter on TikTok, making a 7-year-old look like she was wearing makeup. My mother works as a detective specializing in child crimes. That's my biggest problem. The people like her that they're abusive emotionally and they're just terrible parents, they work in fields where they help children. How are you helping other people but you couldn't even do right by me? It don't make no sense. Get out of the field. You don't belong in the field. In the town she works in, meaning anyone she's arrested can find my child on their local feed. I asked her to take it down. She blew up, said I was just upset about the dress appointment, and told me she wouldn't come to my wedding. Then don't. I don't want you there anyways. That's what I would have said. I told her that was for the best, asked her to remove the photo or I'd report it, and hung up. A stranger had already commented something creepy about my daughter, aging like a fine wine. She's 7. That was the end of our relationship. The venue and P's promise. With my mother out of the picture, I nearly eloped. P insisted I deserved a real wedding and offered to pay for the venue. And I made one thing crystal clear. My mother was not invited, no matter what. He agreed completely. Strike 3. The lie about my daughter. A month or 2 before the wedding, P kept my daughter for a few extra days while I had COVID. When she came home, she broke down crying and revealed that P had told her to lie to me. He had to take her to daycare like he said. He kept her home and instructed my 7-year-old to keep it secret. P. That's a good name because you P. What? Okay, that did not land. Why would she's 7? Please tell me what his reasoning was for not bringing her to daycare, because that makes no sense. When I confronted him, he claimed he just didn't want to worry. I was furious. You didn't want her to worry, but what's the reason for not bringing her to daycare? There wouldn't be no worry if you just brought her to daycare. I was furious. He apologized and cried, but I decided he could no longer keep her overnight. He then spent weeks leading up to my wedding, repeatedly pressuring me to invite my mother. Every time I said no, no, the wedding day, I warned the venue coordinator in advance that my mother was not allowed on the property. To reiterate, I had to take a moment to read that word because I wasn't sure what that said, but I got it. To reiterate, I warned the venue coordinator, who's awesome by the way, in front of my husband's parents, my husband, and my best friend, my mother was absolutely not allowed to be there. On the day itself, my mother showed up anyway, with P 5 minutes before the ceremony, obviously trying to sneak her in without me knowing. She was talking to my boss, telling her that my husband was the one who hadn't wanted her there. My husband spotted this, approached P and said she needed to leave. P told him I said it was fine. My husband, who knows exactly what my family is like, obviously knew that was a lie, and he was furious. P then tried to fight him. When my mother-in-law stepped in to defend her son, P got in her face too. Can she be arrested? I mean, she's not trespassing because they didn't trespass her. I don't know, that's crazy. What you met with me for? You trying to lie? Trying to make a problem, trying to be in my face, trying to fight me on my wedding day. I was in a bridal suit getting 15 different stories from staff, my in-laws, and finally, my husband. My husband held my hand through the door to confront me. Despite us not being able to see each other, I followed the tradition. When he left, P entered and I slung that door open. I demanded he apologize to both my husband and my mother-in-law, who only tried to defend my wishes, and he made some excuse about his family wanting her there. I don't even know them and their wants. And he made some excuse about his family wanting her there. Wanting who? The mother-in-law? I mean the mother? What your family got to do with this? My wedding? I don't even know them, and their wants are for sure irrelevant on my wedding day. I told him I was heartbroken that he couldn't choose me on the one day it counted, and he ruined my chance of having a first look with my dad. An emotional walk down the aisle, and that my mother got exactly what she wanted, which was to cause a scene on my wedding day. She's always been weirdly jealous and possessive over us both, and that my wedding day will always be somewhat of a tainted memory for me, and that he allowed and condoned it. I could not fathom doing something like this to my daughter, even if it could have killed me to not be there for her big moment. In the end, my mother was removed. P stayed only long enough to walk me down the aisle, during which he whispered that he was my real family, not my husband and my in-laws, who had just spent a dramatic hour defending me and my wishes, while he completely obliterated them. I simply told him to shut up and marry my husband, and watch them leave with relief. I have tolerated them both hurting me repeatedly over the years, but to attack my new family on my wedding day for defending me, I don't think I have it in me to forgive that. I'm definitely not even open to working past anything until he gives both my mother-in-law and my husband a real apology, if he's even capable of that. All of his apologies have a but in them, which we all know isn't an apology. It's an excuse or poor justification for crappy behavior. The aftermath. On my honeymoon, my mother sent me $3,000 on Venmo. Thank you, Mom. I'll take it. Accept it. Block. I'll take $3,000. Oh, she sent it back. I would have kept it and blocked her, but that's just me. I sent it back and blocked her. P tried to bribe us with baseball tickets. I told him I needed space and would reach out when ready. But honestly, I think I need to cut him off too. It's hard. He's the only person who never left me when I was a child. And I do love him, but he lied to me repeatedly. Wait, I'm sorry. I just had to pause mid-thing because what happened to her real dad? She just said that the mom and dad broke up when she was 1. I guess he's not in the picture, but still. And I do love him, but he lied to me repeatedly, tried to override my boundaries, brought my mother to my wedding after promising me he wouldn't, tried to fight my husband on our wedding day. So would I be the a-hole if I cut him off? It's also hard because my daughter and P are very close too, but now I'm starting to feel like everything he's done for me has actually been so he can keep his claws on my daughter. I also have text between P and I if you're interested, but fair warning, the message I sent over the honeymoon was long and lengthy. No, you wouldn't be the a-hole because that's crazy work. He tried to fight your future husband on your wedding day because he was defending you. Your dad brought your mother, who you didn't want there. Like you said, he promised you that he wasn't going to bring her, and you did it anyways. And so your husband tried to reinforce your wishes. Are you gonna get up in his face and try to fight him? They try to fight the mother-in-law? A woman? And they fought her more than y'all is. No bueno, get out of my face. Not just that. You're walking the girl down the aisle, you're whispering in her, they're not your real family. Wait. They're not your real family. Me and your mother, we're your real family, okay? Remember that. Defending them. I'm your father. They ain't nothing to you. I was there. I never left you. Don't forget that. You say that in my ear while I'm walking down the aisle? Ooh. If that was me, I would have pushed you. It would have been like a slightly removed. And then continue to walk down the aisle. Because what are you whispering that in my ear for? You shouldn't have even walked you down the aisle at that point because Let's resume the comments. Let's see what the people gotta say. I'm starting to feel like everything he's done for me has actually been so he can keep his claws on my daughter. Why is this not a huge red flag? Cut him off immediately. And your mom posting inappropriate pics of your daughter? Please see the parade of red flags. I feel like your daughter is at risk. Please protect her. Exactly. What do you mean by keep his claws in my daughter? What do you mean by that specifically? Yeah, no. It's okay to divorce people who don't have your best interests at heart. Life without P and your deranged mother will be more sane and peaceful. He told your daughter to lie to you about where she had been. This is the first test of sexual predator. I wasn't trying to fully say it, but since she said it, that's what I was implying by what do you mean exactly by keep his claws on your daughter? Are you thinking as far as that? Are you implying that? Or do you not realize that? But I think, how many days was it 2 days, 7 days that they was together? No, she was 7 years old. Let me see. Just a few days. Okay, well, a few days that she's been gone without going to school. What was the reasoning for not bringing her to school? What were you doing? If she followed that instruction, there would be more secrets to follow, including all of their fun time alone activities. Do not let this man in the same room with your child again. Or it may have been a test to see if he could sneak contact between OP's children and OP's mother. True, but I don't think... Oh, OP said, this is what I believe the purpose was for, as I have known P since I was 3 years old and he has never been predatory with me. Just because he hasn't been predatory with you doesn't mean he's not gonna be with your daughter. I'm sorry. At least in a essay kind of way. And he had every opportunity, as my mother would just randomly up and leave for months or years at a time. What? This goes deeper than what you explained, girl. Without a single word. I do not think he's even capable of hurting anyone in that capacity. However, I do think it's largely possible that he was attempting to get contact between my daughter and mother because she was very good at making his life quite miserable when she does not get her way, and he likes to keep the peace with her whenever he can. Just to offer some clarity, obviously protecting my child is my utmost priority, which is why when my mother threatened her safety, she was immediately cut off. If I ever noticed any signs of anything nefarious in that regard, I would be in courtroom until my final breath or until her abuser was put away. He and my daughter generally have a very good relationship. Ooh, this next comment, it gets deep. This is going to sound sick and disturbing because it is. Even child sexual predators have a type. That's why they essay one child, but another is perfectly safe with them. Trying to get your daughter to lie to you about him being around her that long is a huge red flag. Also, why did she come to you crying? I don't think it's just because he asked her to lie. I don't think he has done anything yet, but he probably told her that she needs to lie or you will be upset or something else to coerce her into lying. There's more to that story. I definitely agree with that. I have a friend who never abused her dad, neither were her sisters, but one day he got arrested and turns out he was abusing his granddaughter and had pictures of kids on his computer. No one seen it coming. He was the last person you would think of doing that. As I said, just because he didn't do nothing to you when you were a kid or growing up doesn't mean he won't do it to your daughter. They have types. But yeah, there's definitely more to that. You're not the a-hole, of course, but cut them all off. Just enjoy your marriage with your daughter. Be done with that whole ordeal and relationship. But and let's move on to the next. This is another one, kind of lengthy one, but we'll see. Am I the a-hole for picking up my stepdaughter from school when she got her first period, even though her mom told me not to? Right now, based off the title, I'm gonna say not the a-hole, because if it's her first period, I don't know about her, but I know for me they're painful, especially on my first day. Okay, so I don't think so. So you're the stepmom. For some reason I thought this person was the dad. Anywho, I 24 female am currently 6 months pregnant with my first biological child. My husband 28 male for a year. Anywho, has a 10-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. He had her when he was 18. I love my stepdaughter very much and truly see her as my own, but I try to be respectful of boundaries and not get too involved in discipline. We mostly just have a good fun relationship. Recently something happened that has me second guessing myself. My stepdaughter was at school when she called my husband saying she had really bad stomach pain. She went to the bathroom and noticed blood, and my husband immediately realized she had started her period. He was stuck at work and couldn't leave, and her mom wasn't answering calls at first. I was home and I'm also on the school's approved pickup list. I told my husband I'd be happy to go get her if he wanted, since she was clearly uncomfortable. Her mom was finally called back and things got tense. She said this was a matter between her and her real mother and that it was a special moment she didn't want to miss. So go get her. First off, does she know anything about that? Have y'all had to talk with her about what to expect, what to do? If she's already having really bad stomach pain and you want this to be a special moment, okay, it's not time for all that special moment type stuff. Go get her then. If you're not getting her, then don't worry about it if I get her. I don't want to be at school with that mess. I'm pretty sure like the nurse or somebody will give her the stuff that she needs. But anywho, I explained that her daughter was in pain and would be bleeding all day, but she said, well, she had to... Well, she'll have to tough it out and use toilet paper until I can get her. But she want to have a special moment with your daughter because it's a special time. You just want to be there for her. But you tell her she need to tough it out? No, you're not the a-hole. My stepdaughter was also saying the pain was too bad to focus in class. Like I said, I know. Her mom kept insisting she didn't want me involved and said something along the lines of, you'll understand when your baby arrives and you become a mom. Talk to me when your child has an important life event. That comment honestly stunk. Then my stepdaughter called me crying, saying she needed pain meds. The school had given her pads, but she just wanted to go home and rest. Hearing her like that really got to me. My husband told me to go ahead and pick her up. Okay, you got the go ahead from the husband? Then you're good. I don't care what the mom says. So I did. I signed her out, took her to Walmart, got her ibuprofen and ginger ale, and brought her home. She took the meds and rested and was doing much better. About 5 hours later, her mom called absolutely furious. She said the school could have handled it. What kind of mom are you? You want this to be a special mom, but you're not even gonna be there for you, telling she needs to tough it out till after school? She must not have back cramps, because ain't no way. What? The school could have handled it that my stepdaughter missed her after school program and accused me of trying to be a better mom than her. If she's a better mom than you, then that's what it is, because you should have left work immediately and picked up your daughter if you have such a problem with it. You can't be mad at her. She also said we had an agreement about boundaries. I told her I wasn't trying to replace her, but her daughter was in pain for hours and is now feeling better, which should be what matters. She responded with, you parent your kid, I'll parent mine, and hung up. Now I'm stuck wondering if I overstepped. Not at all. My husband said I did nothing wrong, you didn't, and that he's glad I helped. As he should be, especially since I understand what painful periods can be like. So do I. But her mom's words are really getting to me. Am I the a-hole? Don't think about what her mom said, because she's just upset. If you want to have such a special moment with your daughter, special bonding time, pick her up. Don't say that she can just deal with it. She can wait till after school. Tell her she missed her after school program. This is her first period. You felt so like touched by it the first time. But you want her to stay at school for hours dealing with pain, saying the school can handle it. Girl, why you on my internet asking me if you're the a-hole for that? Get off my internet with that mess. You know you're not the a-hole. Stop thinking about what she said. She just the a-hole. She the a-hole. Oh, and that's the other thing, especially the husband said it was fine. I mean, not even that. If the husband said not to either, you still want to be the a-hole in my eyes for doing it. But either way, you got the okay from one parent to help your stepdaughter. Not the a-hole, your husband needs to call her and tell her he told you to do this, that he as a father hearing his daughter in pain told you to go, and that if she has a problem with him putting their daughter's needs ahead of her wanting a bonding moment over blood, pain, and fear, but only at a time over convenient to her, she can take it up with him, not you. You did the right thing, but don't engage on this anymore. This is between your husband and his ex. Leave them to it. Definitely agree with that. Thing is, the bonding moment would have been if mommy was on her way to pick her up but needed more time. But from what I'm gathering from this thread is that she had absolutely no intention of picking her up before she finished her day in the school with extra classes as well. Exactly. So where exactly was the bonding? She got her first period in the middle of a school day. She was in pain, bleeding, and probably scared. The fact that her mother expected her to just pull through and stuff toilet paper in her panties says everything that we need to know. There wouldn't have been any bonding. She's lucky that the school gave her some pads, because she could have had re-bleed if it was depending on her mother. It also sounds like her dad would have picked her up if OP wasn't in the picture. Definitely. Yeah, she's crazy. I'm a mom of a daughter, and if that had happened to her, I couldn't get there. I would have been grateful for anyone who could have helped my daughter, because my daughter's needs are more important than my ego. This was about the mom's insecurity and her daughter's relationship with stepmom. Yeah, I know that's crazy. Like she said, the bonding moment would have been you picking me up, helping me throughout the day in the middle of the day. Not saying, oh, you're gonna finish the whole day out and then you're gonna do your after school programs and then we're gonna have a bonding moment about you bleeding and in pain and crying and suffering. If her mom didn't want you to come across as a better mom than her, she shouldn't have been content to let her kid be in pain for several hours. You did fine. Her mom preferred to start a peeing contest over parenting. Yeah. Also, OP wasn't parenting. OP was babysitting as an unwell kid for an afternoon at father's request. Crossing the line into parenting would mean she making the final decision to pull, not dad. Not the a-hole, but your husband needs to take over this conversation. Not the a-hole, not the a-hole, not the a-hole. You're not the a-hole, but your husband certainly is. He needs to step aside and advise his ex that he didn't want his daughter suffering all day, and he asked you as his spouse to help him by picking up his daughter and lending a hand. You shouldn't have been stuck in the middle between them, and you should let them know that he needs to sit down with his ex, address the co-parenting issue and her inappropriate commentary. He should have said something, but I don't think he's necessarily the a-hole for that. Okay, this is a short one. We'll read this as the last one. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she got what she deserved? I don't know. Did she deserve it? What did she get? So my 30 female sister, 31 female, oh wait, I guess she's 30 and the sister's 31, I'm guessing, has been with her husband, 30 male, for 8 years, married for 3. My sister and I don't really get on very well. She has cheated on every single person she has ever been in a relationship with, and it is very selfish and self-centered. If something doesn't revolve around her, she throws a tantrum. And if something she does isn't solely for her benefit, she doesn't do it. She's my sister and I love her, but I try to avoid being around her as much as possible. I love you from a distance. Yeah, that type of relationship. Her and her husband separated recently as my sister had an affair with her husband's best friend of 25 years. Understandably is the correct statement, because what? This crushed her husband, but he put on a brave face for the sake of their son and hopefully to co-parent civilly. That's so sad. I stayed out of it, didn't want to get sucked into the drama. I told both my sister and her husband that I hope they're okay, and that was that. Recently, my sister came to visit me. I've lived 200 miles away for 7 years and she's never once visited me before, even though she's been invited numerous times, and proceeds to rant about how the guy she's with now, the affair partner, has changed since they got together and that he doesn't do anything around the house. Well, isn't that something? KL reference, if you know, you know. Isn't that what everybody says? You break up with your spouse and get with the person you cheat on your spouse with, and they're not gonna be the same. It's not gonna work out. It never does. It's always worse. What do you expect? Won't find a job, etc., etc. He was already unemployed when they started their affair. And how she wishes she just stayed with her husband. And how when she told him that, he laughed at her and said he didn't want her back. Babe, I'm so sorry I cheated on you. This guy is a bum. I should have never cheated on you with your best friend of 25 years. Please take me back. I don't want you. This is about to really cry. No, that's diabolical. The next paragraph, I completely forgot. It mentioned that this guy that she cheated on her husband with was the husband's best friend. But then I remember that part when I just did my little thing, you know. That's crazy. I don't want to hear it and told her as much, but she kept going. After about an hour, I eventually said, well, you should have thought about that before you started shagging someone else. You brought this on yourself. My sister ended up leaving. My husband thinks what I'm about to say, he disagree. I almost rolled my eyes. My husband thinks what I said was fair, but my mom, who also had an affair on my father 20 years ago, thinks what I said was too harsh, and it's clear she regrets her behavior. So now I'm wondering, what I said too harsh? Girl, your sister, who's never visited you ever, comes to your house to rant about her mistakes and her mishaps and missing her husband, and you don't want to hear that, because first off, y'all don't get along. Anyways, I know people just don't really know and they really do need advice, but it baffles me that y'all come on my internet with this mess. You know you're not in the wrong. You just said it yourself. Your mom, who also had an affair on your dad. You're doubting yourself because of that? You said it yourself. That's not a good person to be making yourself doubt yourself. But who am I? I'm just a random person on the internet as well. Trying to help you with yourself. Not the a-hole. She doesn't regret her behavior. She doesn't like the consequences. She doesn't even seem to miss her ex-husband, just the things he used to do for her. Bingo! She doesn't regret her behavior. She's just mad he won't take her back. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. It looks like your mom is validating her own actions through your sister. She did bring this upon herself. She made her bed. Now she has to sleep in it. Not the a-hole. And your sister doesn't regret what happened. She regrets the outcome because she's every bit as selfish as you said. Exactly. That's my thing. Like I said, y'all come on the internet. You laid it all out. You said yourself. Your sister's selfish. She's self-absorbed. She throws a tangent when things don't go her way. And all of this is happening. So why are you coming on the internet asking if you're the a-hole? If you know, because you told me in the story. Friend, sister, girlfriend. Let me hold your hand when I say this. Get off my internet, please, with this. You know what? I'm done. My blood pressure going up, okay? I don't know my blood pressure is. I don't know that. But yeah, all of these, not the a-hole. You know what? I want to read a story where the person is the a-hole. I've never read a story, I don't think, ever that I'm like, oh yeah, you're the problem. Have I? I don't know. But anyways, that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Pick a story that you really liked and let me know in the comments what you think about it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe if you'd like me. And want to see more of me. I'll catch you in the next one, I guess. The next story, next video, next anything. Bye.